My name is Ariana, and if there's one truth I can no longer run from, it's this. I ruined my own marriage long before my husband ever confronted me. People say affairs happen because you feel unloved, ignored, or wounded. Maybe that's true for some women. But for me, no. I can finally admit that I cheated because I wanted more. More attention, more admiration, more thrill. And in chasing those things, I threw away the man who genuinely loved me. Ethan never deserved what I did to him. And if you think this is going to be some story where I justify myself or blame him, stop right now. I'm not here to pretend I was a victim. I wasn't. I was the weapon that destroyed him until he picked up the broken pieces and built something terrifying out of the pain I caused. I met Tyler 6 months ago at a corporate event my PR firm was hosting. Ethan, my husband, couldn't make it because he had a late client at his workshop. His world is old engines and restoration jobs. Mine had suddenly become luxury hotels, designer outfits, and social media influencers. I didn't fit in, not really, but the moment Tyler walked up to me, it felt like I did. He was handsome in that polished, confident way wealthy men tend to be. Perfect smile, expensive watch, voice dripping charisma. The kind of man who walks into a room and instantly knows he could have anyone he wants. When he talked to me, I felt seen in a way I hadn't felt in years. Ethan loved me quietly. Tyler admired me loudly. And I didn't realize how hungry I had been for that until it fell right into my lap. It started small, laughs that lasted too long, lingering touches, rides home from events. Nothing physical at first. Just intoxication. But it didn't stay that way for long. Within a month, we were meeting in hotel rooms after late client dinners. Within 2, I had become someone I didn't even recognize. Someone who lied easily. Someone who hid messages. Someone who deleted photos. Someone who wanted the danger more than the affection. The worst part? I convinced myself Ethan would never know. He was always exhausted, always busy, always trusting. He believed in me the way only a good man can believe in someone who doesn't deserve it. I remember the night everything cracked open. I stumbled in at 2:30 a.m., my makeup smudged, my head heavy with alcohol and guilt. Tyler had given me a gift earlier. Something expensive, personal, inappropriate, and absolutely incriminating. I should have left it in his car, or better yet, thrown it away. But I didn't. I tossed it into my purse without thinking. When I climbed into bed next to Ethan, he was turned away from me. His breathing sounded even, calm, asleep. I didn't know he was awake. I didn't know he'd been awake for weeks, listening, noticing the changes in my perfume, the shifts in my tone, the late-night showers, the way I guarded my phone. People think quiet men are clueless. They're not. They just don't show their cards until they've memorized yours. The next morning was a Saturday. Our Saturday ritual. Breakfast in bed, something Ethan had done for me since we were newly married. Even on weeks when I didn't deserve it. Even when I came home late. Even when I barely said thank you. When he appeared with the tray, I thought for a moment that maybe last night wasn't as obvious as it felt. He placed everything neatly beside me, Greek yogurt, berries, the orange juice he squeezed himself. And then I saw it. A small box, wrapped in the same expensive paper Tyler had used. My heart dropped straight to the floor. I knew immediately what it was. Or rather, what it had been. Because when I opened the box with trembling fingers, something was different. Ethan had added his wedding ring inside it. My entire body froze. My throat dried. I couldn't breathe. Ethan didn't yell. He didn't curse. He didn't demand answers. He just looked at me with the calmest, coldest eyes I had ever seen. "Thought you might want to keep everything together," he said quietly. I tried to lie. I tried to cry. I tried to play the victim. But he wasn't the same husband I had spent months underestimating. He didn't flinch. He didn't soften. He didn't ask me why. He already knew the answer. "I'm going to see a lawyer today," he said simply. "You don't need to explain anything. You already did." He left the room without another word. I sat there shaking, holding a box that might as well have been a bomb. And I didn't realize that the explosion hadn't even begun yet. Later, I would learn that the lawyer he went to was Mira Chin, smart, lethal, feared in every courtroom she walked into. Ethan handed her everything. Months of evidence. Screenshots. Bank charges. Digital backups I thought I deleted. Messages Tyler had sent. Photos taken in moments I thought were private. Ethan had been watching the entire time. And he didn't want a quiet divorce. He wanted a statement. Monday at 2:30 p.m., I found out exactly what that meant. I was in the middle of a presentation when reception called saying someone was here to deliver something. I stepped into the lobby and nearly collapsed. Standing in the center was a giant foam board poster on an easel. A blown-up photo of the incriminating gift Tyler had given me. And Ethan's wedding ring was right there in the picture. Below it, in bold letters, the message: "Enjoy the real thing, Ariana. Divorce papers enclosed." I swear the entire office went silent. My boss stared like she'd just watched someone die. My coworkers froze, whispering behind their hands. The retired cop who delivered the papers didn't even blink as he handed them to me. My legs weak, my face burning, I walked outside and called Ethan with shaking hands. "What is wrong with you?" I screamed, my voice cracking. "You humiliated me in front of everyone." His voice was unsettlingly steady. "I divorced you in front of everyone. There's a difference. You're ruining my reputation."
"No," he said.
"You ruined your marriage." "Ethan, please." He didn't even let me finish. Adults don't cheat on their spouses for months. Adults don't document their betrayal. Adults don't lie every day and then expect sympathy. Then he hung up. And that was the moment it hit me. I wasn't dealing with the Ethan I married. I was dealing with the Ethan I created. And he was only getting started. Because this wasn't just about me anymore. It was about Tyler. And Ethan was about to drag him into hell.
I didn't know how. I didn't know when.
But something in Ethan's voice told me that he was going to dismantle Tyler's life piece by piece. And a part of me, an ugly, selfish part, was terrified for both of us. Because for the first time, I realized something I had been too blind to see. Ethan wasn't weak. He was quiet. And quiet men don't break loudly. They break strategically. What happened next changed everything. I thought the worst was behind me after Ethan exposed me in my office lobby, but that was just the first crack. Humiliation hurts, but what came next wasn't about embarrassment. It was about fear, real fear, the kind that sits in your stomach like a cold stone and doesn't move no matter how hard you try to breathe. The day after the poster incident, everything around me felt tilted. The air seemed heavier. My coworkers watched me with pity and curiosity, like I was some scandalous character from a reality show instead of someone they had lunch with every day. My boss pulled me aside, her face tight with discomfort. She didn't ask for details. She didn't have to. She just told me to take some personal time until things calmed down. We both knew what that meant. Tyler didn't call me the entire day. He didn't text. Nothing. He vanished. I should have expected it. Men like him don't stand next to the fire once it starts burning. They step away and pretend they were never there. I had been stupid enough to believe I was different. That night, I went home to our apartment. Ethan wasn't there. His things were still in place, but his presence wasn't. The air felt empty. The bedroom felt cold. I sat on the side of the bed and held the pillow he used to sleep on, and for the first time since the affair started, I cried, not out of guilt, but out of grief.
Losing someone slowly is one thing.
Losing him all at once, in an explosion you caused, is something else entirely. I didn't sleep. I just sat in the dark, staring at the door, half hoping Ethan would walk in, yell, scream, demand answers, anything. But Ethan didn't yell. He didn't scream. He didn't even come home. The next morning, I woke up on the couch to my phone buzzing endlessly. Unknown numbers. Emails. Notifications blowing up. News articles. Gossip forums. And then I saw it, my name trending locally, tied to Tyler's company. Rumors spreading. Whispers about CEO's affair scandal, marital infidelity, PR executive linked to corporate misconduct. My chest tightened. I clicked the first article. 3 paragraphs in, my jaw dropped. Ethan hadn't just exposed our affair. He had given the media a trail of financial inconsistencies that linked Tyler's company card to the hotels we used. And because Tyler was high-profile, the press didn't hesitate. They pounced. Nexus Technologies, Tyler's empire, was suddenly under public scrutiny. Investors panicking. Stock price dropping. Analysts speculating. My affair wasn't just a mistake anymore. It had become a financial scandal. I panicked and dialed Tyler. Straight to voicemail. I dialed again. Straight to voicemail. Over and over. Nothing. My hands trembled so hard I could barely hold the phone. Finally, I texted him.
Please call me.
This is serious. No reply. 2 hours later, he finally called back. I answered instantly. What is going on? I demanded, my voice breaking. Tyler exhaled hard, sounding exhausted, irritated, cornered. What's going on is that your husband is insane, he snapped. He's trying to drag my company into this. Do you have any idea how bad this looks? Tyler, I didn't know he had all that evidence. I didn't know he would. You didn't know? Ariana, he subpoenaed my financials. My lawyer said we have to comply. Do you realize what that means? My stomach bottomed out. He's not stopping, Tyler continued bitterly. He wants to ruin me. This isn't about ruining you, I said quietly. It's about ruining us. Tyler didn't respond. The silence stretched painfully. When he finally spoke, his voice was colder. You need to lay low. And stop calling me. My team is trying to contain this. If anyone asks, we barely know each other. I felt like someone poured ice water down my spine. So that's it, I whispered. You're throwing me under the bus? This isn't personal. It's business. He hung up. I didn't even cry. I just stared at the phone, stunned at how quickly he had erased me. Later, I realized Ethan predicted exactly this. Tyler was never going to protect me. Ethan didn't have to destroy our relationship. It collapsed the moment pressure touched it. While I was drowning in panic, Ethan was moving forward with frightening speed. I tried calling him. He didn't answer. I called again. Straight to voicemail. I texted him paragraph after paragraph. Apologies, explanations, desperation. Nothing. It was midday when someone knocked on my apartment door. I opened it and froze. It was Ethan's friend, Ricky. Lean, awkward, brilliant with computers. He stepped inside without waiting for an invitation, holding a flash drive in his hand. I'm here to pick up Ethan's hard drive, he said flatly. He told me not to speak to you, but I figured someone should give you a warning. My pulse spiked. What warning? He looked at me with a mixture of pity and disappointment. You have no idea what Ethan has on Tyler. I swallowed hard. What do you mean? Affairs. Plural. Not just you. 7 others. Married women. Business partners' wives. Investors' daughters. Tyler has a pattern, Ariana. And Ethan has proof. My mouth fell open. That's not possible. It's very possible. The man documented everything like trophies. And his fixer? That guy cleaned up even bigger messes for him. Ethan found it all. Files. Messages. Digital logs. Hotel records. I felt sick.
How?
I whispered. Ricky shrugged. He thought he was clever. But he wasn't clever enough. He paused, staring at me with a bluntness that cut. I don't know whether to feel sorry for you or not. But I'll tell you this. Ethan isn't doing this out of revenge anymore. Then why? I asked, my voice trembling. He's doing this because Tyler messed with the wrong life. Ricky grabbed the hard drive and left. I sank onto the couch, shaking. The room felt smaller, darker, suffocating. I couldn't escape the truth anymore. Tyler's world was about to implode, and Ethan was the one lighting the match. That evening, after hours of crying into a pillow, I forced myself out of the apartment for a walk. Fresh air, I thought, might help me think. It didn't. Every step felt heavy. Every sound too loud. I stopped at a bench near the park, trying to calm myself. That's when I saw 2 familiar figures near the fountain. Ethan and Tyler. My breath caught. I stayed hidden behind a line of hedges, watching with wide, terrified eyes. Tyler looked stressed, angry. Ethan looked calm, almost disturbingly so. The distance between them felt electric, dangerous. I couldn't hear everything, but a few words drifted through the air when Ethan raised his voice just enough. You didn't just cheat with my wife. You targeted married women for fun. Tyler's face went pale. Ethan continued, and now you're going to face the consequences. Tyler said something I couldn't catch, but Ethan stepped forward, voice low and sharp. You have 24 hours to announce your resignation. If you don't, everything I have goes public. Tyler's jaw clenched. Mikhail, his fixer, shifted but didn't move. Ethan walked away calmly, like he'd just finished a business deal instead of threatening to dismantle a man's life. As Ethan walked past the hedges, he saw me. Our eyes locked. His expression didn't change. Not sadness. Not anger. Not even hatred. Just nothing. He walked past me, without a single word. That emptiness hurt more than anything Tyler ever did. 2 days later, Tyler publicly stepped down from his company for personal reasons. The tech world erupted. Investors distanced themselves. Articles dissected his downfall. And my name, my stupid, pathetic name, dragged along the edges of the story like a dirty footnote. And Ethan didn't stop. He filed the divorce paperwork. Mira pushed for full financial separation. Tyler cut me loose completely. The PR firm asked me not to return. My entire life collapsed in less than a month. The irony wasn't lost on me. I destroyed Ethan's trust. Ethan destroyed Tyler's world. Tyler destroyed my career. And I was the common denominator in all of it. The final collapse came the evening Ethan returned home to pack the last of his belongings. I stood there in the living room, feeling small and pathetic. He looked around the apartment one last time. Ethan, I whispered, can we please talk? He didn't stop. He didn't turn. There's nothing left to talk about. Please, I begged, stepping closer. I'm sorry. I know I don't deserve forgiveness, but I need you to know I never stopped loving you. He zipped his bag slowly, then finally looked at me. You loved the attention, not me. My chest tightened painfully. I made a mistake. No, he said quietly. You made a choice. I tried to touch his arm. He stepped back. Ethan, please. I lost everything. He held my gaze with heartbreaking calm.
No, he said.
You lost what you traded. I felt my knees weaken. He walked toward the door, paused, and added, and Ariana, this is just the beginning of your consequences. The door closed behind him. I sank to the floor, shaking so violently I could barely breathe. I had no job, no reputation, no partner, no husband, no dignity, and I knew Ethan wasn't done, because Tyler's world had collapsed, and mine was next. After Ethan walked out of the apartment with the last of his things, silence filled every corner like a punishment. It wasn't peaceful silence, it was hollow, suffocating, loud in a way that forced me to hear my own guilt echoing around the walls. I hadn't realized how much space Ethan occupied until he wasn't there to fill it anymore. His calm, his warmth, his stability. It was all gone, and the emptiness left behind felt like a wound I'd carved myself. The days that followed blurred together. My phone stopped ringing. Friends didn't know what to say. Most of them quietly faded away. My PR firm officially terminated my contract. Damage to company reputation was the reason. I didn't argue. What was the point? I had become a walking scandal, and everyone wanted to distance themselves before I dragged them down with me. Tyler disappeared from my life entirely. No explanation. No apology. Not even anger. I became a chapter he wanted to erase. Not a person, not a mistake, just a liability. His resignation hit the news with full force, and while the official statement said it was personal reasons, everyone knew something bigger had happened. The articles didn't mention my name directly anymore, but they didn't need to. The internet already had everything. Rumors. Theories. Photos. People connected the dots even when the lines weren't drawn clearly. I tried reaching out to Ethan again and again, but he never responded. Every message delivered. None read. It was like trying to talk to a closed door in a burning room. And every time I told myself, he'll calm down eventually, something else would happen that proved he was nowhere near done. 2 weeks after he left, I received a notice from our bank. Ethan had flagged multiple transfers I'd made to my secret account, small amounts, ones I thought he would never notice. I felt shock twist in my stomach. I had hidden that money because I thought maybe one day Tyler and I would, I don't know, move, start fresh, something delusional. But now Ethan had frozen those transfers. The bank reversed everything. Every last dollar. He wasn't just ending the marriage. He was scrubbing me out of it. I spent the next few days lying on the couch, staring at the ceiling, drowning in a cocktail of shame and fear. I thought about texting Tyler, but what would I even say? He'd made it clear I was an inconvenience. And Ethan? He felt like a ghost, present in every consequence, but nowhere in reality. Then one afternoon, a friend sent me a link, a clip from a courthouse press gathering. And there he was.
Ethan.
Clean-shaven, wearing a dark suit, calm, composed, unshakably steady. Cameras flashing, reporters shouting questions. Mira standing beside him like a general ready for war. He spoke calmly, simply, honestly. He didn't use my name. He didn't insult me. He didn't tell the world I was a monster. He just raised the truth and held it up for everyone to see. My marriage ended because I discovered infidelity. It wasn't an impulsive decision. It was months of repeated choices made behind my back. I could have handled this quietly, but there was more happening beyond the affair itself. He listed everything. The financial inconsistencies, the corporate misuse of funds, the misconduct, the pattern of manipulation, the repeated targeting of married women. He never said Tyler's name, but he didn't need to. The reporters understood immediately. This was no longer gossip. It was a pattern, a documented one. I watched in stunned silence as Ethan laid out the truth, calmly, rationally, powerfully. Not as a man seeking revenge, but as a man ensuring justice. It hit me then. Ethan wasn't destroying Tyler to hurt me. He was doing it because Tyler had been hurting women like me for years. Women who might never recover, whose lives might never heal, whose families might never trust them again. Ethan wasn't just dismantling a man. He was exposing a predator. And I had been too blinded by flattery and attention to see the truth. The press conference went viral within hours. The stock price dropped again. More women came forward anonymously. Tyler's past surfaced like oil rising through water, dark, thick, undeniable. His lawyers scrambled. His PR team panicked. Nexus Technologies went into survival mode. And me? I watched the man I betrayed stand tall while the man I chose crumbled. For the first time, I felt something deeper than guilt. I felt regret. Bone deep, soul-shaking regret. Not because Ethan went public. Not because Tyler went down. But because I had chosen a man who only valued me behind closed doors over a man who protected others even after I destroyed him. A week later, the divorce hearing was scheduled. I walked into the courthouse hoping, stupidly hoping, that Ethan would look at me. Just once. Not with love. Not with forgiveness. Just with something human.
He didn't.
He didn't glance at me once. He spoke when he needed to.
He signed what he needed to.
He agreed to the division Mira recommended. And that was it. No drama. No emotion. No final conversation. When the judge asked if either party wished to say anything, Ethan shook his head. I opened my mouth, but nothing came out. The divorce was finalized in 8 minutes. He walked out without turning around. I sat there long after the courtroom emptied, staring at the spot where he had stood. My chest felt hollow. My hands felt cold. This was it. I had officially ended the only good thing I ever had. That evening, I went back to the apartment, my apartment now, and the silence felt heavier than ever. I wandered through the rooms, touching everything like I was trying to bring memories back to life. The kitchen he used to cook in. The couch he used to fall asleep on after long days. The balcony where he'd sit and drink coffee in the mornings. the bed where we used to laugh, plan, dream. It all felt like a museum of a life I'd thrown away. I don't know how long I sat on the living room floor before I heard the knock.
Soft. Hesitant.
I opened the door and froze. It was Ethan. He looked tired. Not angry. Not cold. Just tired. Like he had finally run out of energy to keep fighting the storm my choices had created. "Can I come in?" he asked quietly. For a moment, I couldn't speak. I could only nod. He stepped inside and looked around. His eyes lingered on the walls, the furniture, the little things that hadn't changed. Then he turned to me. "I didn't come to argue," he said, "or to reopen anything." "I know," I whispered. He took a breath. "I just came to hear your apology, if you wanted to give one." I felt my heart twist painfully. "I'm sorry," I said, my voice cracking. "Not because things went public. Not because of Tyler. I'm sorry because you were good to me.
Because you loved me.
Because you trusted me." And I threw that away like it meant nothing. Ethan didn't move. He just listened. "I don't expect forgiveness," I continued. "I don't deserve it." Silence. He finally spoke. "You're right." The truth stung like a blade. "But I wanted to give you something," he added softly. "Closure." My breath caught. "You need to move on, Ariana. Not backward. Not toward me. Just forward. We can't fix this. We can't undo what happened. But we can stop living inside the same wound." Tears blurred my vision. Does it hurt you too?" Ethan nodded slowly. "Every day." My knees weakened. "Then why are you being so calm?" He looked at me with the saddest eyes I've ever seen. "Because I learned that healing doesn't always have room for anger." We stood there for a long moment, two people who had shared a life, now standing in the ashes of it. When he finally walked toward the door, I followed him. He paused before leaving. "You weren't all bad," he said. "But you made choices you can't undo. So now it's time to live with them. And grow beyond them." He opened the door and stepped out. I whispered softly, "Goodbye, Ethan." He didn't look back. "Goodbye, Ariana." The door closed. For the last time, I stayed standing there, staring at the empty doorway, the quiet humming in my ears, the ache in my chest expanding until it felt like I couldn't breathe. I had lost him, not to another woman, not to another mistake, but to my own choices. And maybe that's what made it hurt the most. Because I finally understood what betrayal really costs. Not anger, not revenge, not destruction. It costs the version of yourself you can never be again. It costs the person you can never have back. It costs the life you can never rebuild the same way. The next morning, I woke up alone, but for the first time, I didn't feel like running from the pain. I felt it fully.
Deeply.
Honestly. Because maybe that was the only thing left to do. Feel it, learn from it, and then someday grow past it. But not today. Today, I simply whispered into the quiet apartment. This is who I became. Now I have to become someone better. And for the first time since the affair began, I didn't lie to myself.